Got 5 questions for you. First, what advice would you give investors that are trying to get started today?
Well, first of all, read your book so they'll have some guidelines to go by, and go to pick out some of the good seminars like you and I go to. The Gary
Yes, sir.
Johnsons, John Schaub's, um, the John Hires, Pete Fortunato's. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out. Dyke
Now,
Spotiford
Bill
and
Cook.
and
Yeah.
Bill Cook, and don't go just once. Go a bunch of times, because you
Right.
and don't stop going. You just keep going, and it'll give you some, because you meet with people outside the meeting, and it'll give you renewed energy, and it'll help you keep your direction that you want to go, and so that would be my advice. Education, like Jimmy Napier said in his book, if you think education's expensive, try ignorance.
There you go. There's no cost comparable to that, huh?
That's right.
All right. So, do you have any YouTube or podcast shows that you would recommend our listeners to check out, like someone that you follow?
I don't listen to a whole bunch of those. There's
Mhm.
so many of them that just have gurus on there, and
Oh.
they want to show the guy making, $100 million a month and whatnot. And my goal has been to appeal to the guy who's done one deal or never done a deal, the average guy who can't look at somebody doing 100 deals. They can't see themselves doing that, and encourage them to go do one or five or 10, and not feel like they're a loser because that's all they're doing, because you can be very successful doing that.
Absolutely.
I read a lot of books, and but
Mhm.
those guys that I just named, I like to go to their seminars over and over and over again.
Mhm. There you
So
go. So, in exchange for a podcast or a YouTube, start going to seminars.
yeah, and it doesn't hurt to listen to podcasts. I mean, you get a lot from
Hmm.
them.
Yep.
It's just that I'm at my point in my life, I'm probably thinking more about fly fishing.
There you go. Well, if our listeners want to find out more about the fly fishing, I'll have them reach out to you to get some
Yeah.
tips and tricks on that.
All right.
Mr. Leon, if you had to pick one book that you feel made the biggest impact on your life, which book would that be?
Oh my. Uh, I can't say just one. In real estate, I'd have to say that the Invest in Debt by Jimmy Napier was a biggie, but it's just in that one area. Um,
Yeah.
you know, uh, it's a new book, that Adrian Smoot did on mobile homes. I think, people need to be looking at that.
Hmm.
Cash flow quadrant, some of those were
Yeah.
really good.
And that's
I'd have
Robert
to say,
Kiyosaki, Cash Flow
yeah,
Quadrant.
right.
Yeah.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad was a good book. Oh,
Hmm.
I'd have to, I got it. I got the book,
Okay.
Richest Man in Babylon by
Oh,
George
yes.
Clason. I don't know if you've ever
Mm.
read that or not, but it
I
pays to
have.
read that
I
one
have.
real often.
I was gonna say I flew down to Tampa recently and I just reread that book and so a couple weeks ago, it's short enough. You can read it on a flight down and a flight back.
Hmm.
But it's so powerful to just put your eyes in the lens of someone in a time where wealth was very, disproportionate. And there
Hmm.
were the kings and the rulers, and then there were everyone else. And then
Hmm.
this man in Babylon, just a simple thing, put money in your pocket every time you make money. It's just
Hmm.
the concept is amazing.
It's a great overall framework of things to look at, kind of like your book as
Hmm.
far as guiding you with your goals and whatnot and being on
Yeah.
purpose.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, that's a
That's
great
right.
one. Well, John Schaub's
John Chubb.
making it big on little deals is a
Yeah.
is a great book too.
And he also did the create wealth one house at a time. Is that right?
Yeah,
I know
that's it.
that it.
I'm sorry. That was the title of his
Okay.
original seminar, but it's the same thing.
Okay.
Basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
building wealth one house at a time on Amazon.
that was an early book I read, and was one that I was like, that's my goal. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to teach for 10 more years, and then I'm going to go. And then we kind of dove off the deep end and ended up buying 5 or 10. And so it accelerated really fast. All right, Mr. Leon, last question. How can our listeners get in touch with you or follow you on your journey if they want to learn more about fly fishing or what you do in your life?
Well, Facebook's probably the best way. I don't do a lot on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram and those kind of things, but Facebook, and then I'm not a techie. Adam set up a Leon Johnson page, and I should post on it more often, but check it out. And
Okay.
there's a video on a podcast I did on real estate disruptors. It's on YouTube. You just do a search for Leon Johnson Real Estate. I think it's been viewed about 65,000 times.
We'll make sure that link gets in the show notes for this episode. That way people can reference it pretty quickly.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
Yeah.